So if I could say one thing about this trip, it was really wow. I've never been on a missions trip before, so this was the first missions trip I've been to, and it was just very interesting because one minute I was not reading the Bible as much as I should be, and I was going to church maybe once or twice a week, and then the next minute I'm thrown into a bus, and then we show up and we have to defend the faith. And at least at the meeting I felt like I was prepared and I was very confident about what we were going to do. And I was even joking around that we should make like a shirt like I eat Mormons for breakfast or something like that. And I thought it was funny then, but once you get there and you meet the real people that are behind these beliefs, the Mormon faith seems so ridiculous, but once you start to get to know these people who actually believe in this, your heart breaks for them. I had this one conversation with Pastor Mike and Minjae King, this elderly gentleman, and he was very open to discussion, and we were talking about how the differences between Christianity and Mormonism, and we were really excited because, I mean, I personally was excited because I was so, I felt like I was prepped for this kind of discussion with someone who knew his stuff. But Pastor Mike started to bring up about the issue of eternal marriage, how marriage doesn't last forever. And at that point, the man just looks into our eyes and he just shakes our hands and he says, "Brethren, it's a pleasure talking to you, but I'm going to go." And he left with a sarcastic remark saying, "You better be married or you're not going to be able to get to heaven. I mean, what's the point?" And after that moment, it changed a lot. My perspective on Mormonism and the people behind it changed a lot. And I think that this has started something that's going to continue throughout my life. And it's fueled my interest and love of God in a very different way than I expected it to be.
So today we just finished up our car wash, which was a way of being able to serve the people in the community and also get a way to talk to Mormon people around this area who came by. And we actually ran into two missionaries who we were able to talk to them. I actually walked in a little before they started their conversation and got introduced to them, and then we started to get to know them a little bit and where they were from, and then we started to ask them. They asked us first, like, what do you think Mormons believe? And we said some stuff about Joseph Smith, and they said, oh, well, we don't pray to Joseph Smith and all this stuff. And they kind of made it sound like a lot when we tried to explain what we believed in. They said that, oh, it's the same, and they were very good at kind of talking and also avoiding the things that they actually really believed.
I think what God has really been doing in my heart through this trip is He's really filled it with compassion. I came in thinking that, like, through arguments, like being so rational with these Mormons, that we could eventually come to know the truth together, but I realized it comes so much more deeper than that. Like, on the first day we were talking to this giant Mormon family, and we were just introducing ourselves, and yes, some of the stuff they said was like really irrational, but I realized that it's not just about like, oh, this makes sense to me or not. They've centered their whole families around this, and you know, I just felt so fortunate just that I got to grow up in a family that knows truth, because truth is so powerful.
So on the first day, we went to the Manti pageant, and we basically, me, Sherry, and Eunice, we approached these elderly people, and we came up to them and we talked to them, and I think I realized that before I thought that Mormons were just strange people, just people that were so crazy and just so blind from the truth, but I realized that Mormons are extremely kind-hearted people, and I feel like they have such boldness and courage when they talk to others about their religion, and I was kind of encouraged by that for some reason. I felt like Christians should also have the courage to evangelize to others and to share the gospel with others with that same boldness, with that same courage. But at the same time, as much as I was encouraged by them, I was also really brokenhearted. They were such kind-hearted people, and they were so open to us, and I really wanted to that God would really just approach them, that God would really just reveal Himself to him. But at the same time, I knew that for some reason maybe their hearts were just a little bit cold, and I'm really just thankful for God's grace and just His mercy. Throughout this whole trip, I was really just brokenhearted that these Mormons thought that their works were the only way, and their works and their faith were the way to get into heaven. But I realized that just how merciful and gracious our God is. And I was just really brokenhearted that they didn't see that, and they were blinded by Mormonism and just all the things that Joseph Smith told them. And I don't know why, but I really thought about just my parents on this trip. And you know, a lot of these children, a lot of these people come into Mormonism, I think, because you know, they're brought up like that. Their parents brought them to the church, and you know, at the age of 8, they're the age of accountability. They're able to make the choice to become, you know, to become a true Mormon or whatever. And I just thought, I was so thankful that my parents brought me up to be a Christian. They brought me up to go to church, and I just thought about them a lot during this trip. And I was really thankful for them that they were able to bring me to a church where I could just learn about the true religion, our true God, just God that's really just loving and just is so gracious and merciful, like I said, and just so, I'm just really thankful, and I thought of them a lot.
Students, it was so great that you got to hang out with me. No, students, it was so great that we got to spend time together here in Manti. I'm so glad that you got a taste, just a taste, of what ministry can look like, what evangelism can look like. And here's what I want to encourage you to do. I want you to figure out, now that you're home, how do you make this? How do you make the experience at Manti? How do you make the mission at Manti? How do you make this normal Christianity back at home in your everyday life? And realize that this, I think, is a better picture often of what a life following Christ should look like. And so how are you going to translate that back into your life? Are you going to be as intentional as you are up here? Because every day we were intentional, we were purposeful. We knew what our mission was. Our mission was to go and to share the gospel, the good news, with Mormons who are lost, who don't have good news. And so every day we went out with this intention to go share the gospel. We didn't know who it was going to be or where we were going to encounter them, but our mission was clear. So how can you bring that back into your daily life when you go to school? How can you get into that mindset each and every day that yes, you're a student and you're getting your education and all that is good, but actually your primary mission as a follower of Jesus is that school is your mission field. That there are people walking around you every single day who need to hear the good news, who are lost without it. And so how can you be intentional at school, maybe at home, with family members who are not believers, in your neighborhood, at work? How do you bring this mission into everything that you do? And students, I want to encourage you, when you do this, when you follow Christ, when you live for His cause, you give yourself for a greater cause than your own personal satisfaction, you will find true life. That's where you'll find true life. That's where you'll find true joy. And if you want to get lit up for Jesus Christ, then start proclaiming His name to everyone. And so I want to encourage you, take the Manti experience, take the Mormon mission experience, and figure out how this now needs to be infused into every part of your life. And keep following Christ like you did here in Manti, back at home.